faced microaggressions plenty of times throughout my time as working as a professional in corporate America, before I entered corporate America. Really any time that I was in predominantly white spaces, I have faced microaggressions, and I can tell you that it doesn't get any easier to deal with, but it becomes easier to recognize when it's happening to you in the moment. A lot of times microaggressions would happen to me, and you would get this feeling in your gut where it's like, that didn't feel right. What they said to me seemed off. That was offensive. That was weird. And sometimes when you're in these spaces, especially as a Black woman, it can feel so isolating. It can feel like you're being gaslit, where it's like, what do I do? What do I say? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sierra. If you are new here, this is Starting Over at 30, the series. I recently quit my dream job as a news anchor, and now here I am, starting fresh, starting new, on a healing journey and self-discovery journey, figuring out who I am. Microaggressions are something that I've been dealing with, honestly, since I went to college, right? And it would be in class where white people would talk over me. And when it would happen, I'm like, what is this? What is happening? Because I never experienced it before. Or where I could say an idea, a white person can say the same idea, and their idea gets recognized over what I just said. It felt like being invisible, and it took a toll on, of course, my confidence and my mental health, but I never let it break me. I remember when I was working in upstate New York at 19 for a summer. I'm the only Black person there, right? The department I was working in, I was the only Black person, and we were, all joking, talking to each other. Mind you, all of these people I'm working with are like in their 20s. We're all like in our early 20s. I was 19, so I was probably like one of the youngest people there. And this girl, we're joking, cracking up, and this girl says, "Yes, you're, because you talk so ghetto," like cracking up, laughing. And when it happened, I'm like, I immediately felt offended, and I felt super insecure, because it was like, I started questioning myself, like, do I talk ghetto? For one, what is talking ghetto? That isn't even a thing, right? This white girl says that to me, and I address her in the moment, and I'm like, what do you mean by that? And she repeats it and says it again, still laughing. And I'm like, I don't think that's funny. When it was said to me, it was like I was the one who was making it a big deal, and it really wasn't that serious. I go to my supervisor about it, and she's like, well, I don't see color. Automatically goes into that, right? You know they love to do that. I don't see color, I don't think that she really meant it that way. I don't see color. I don't care if you're purple, red, orange. They love to do that. I'm not purple, red, or orange. I'm a Black woman. We could just acknowledge that I'm Black, and that's okay. In that moment, I was 19, I was a kid, and I didn't know what was happening to me, but I knew that it was wrong. During the same summer at the same job, I had a white lady ask me, "Sierra, do you put tar in your hair?" I said, "What? In your hair? Don't Black people put tar in their hair?" "What?" I said, "No, we don't put tar in our hair." But in my mind, I'm thinking, Sierra, just be nice, be polite. Mind you, I'm a kid at this time. This woman is well into her 20s. I would walk on eggshells so often because, one, a lot of times I would be by myself. I would be the only Black person, and I didn't feel like I had anybody who had my back. A lot of times I would think I would just try to keep the peace, although on the inside I was feeling so like attacked, right? Or I was feeling like they saw me as like some monolithic creature pet thing, where they could just ask me the most asinine, insane questions that made no sense. Like, why are you asking me this? What makes you think it is okay for you to ask me something like this? There were so many experiences I had at that one job where that was an eye-opener for me, and that's when I realized, as a Black woman, especially when you are in certain spaces, this wasn't even a, corporate America job, y'all. I was working at a hotel. during this time, right? At a summer camp, and I was experiencing these type of microaggressions as a child. When we were there, we had little name tags that said our name and what school we came from, and mine was, I went to Michigan State University. But every time a white, which was only white people went to this camp, every time they would talk to me like, oh, so you go to Morgan State University. And I'm like, what is Morgan State University? At that time, I had no idea what it was. But all of them assumed I went to an HBCU. None of them thought that I went to Michigan State. It was so weird. And at that time, I didn't know there was a name for it. I didn't know that microaggressions were a thing. And I wish that I could say that moment was like the only time I faced microaggressions, but it wasn't. And if I do decide to go back into corporate spaces, I'm pretty sure I will face them again. I just wanted to give some examples and tell some stories of some of the things that I faced, because I would hate for any black people out there, specifically any black women out there, to think that they're crazy or they tripping over what's being said to them. I'm here to tell you that you are not. I specifically remember when I was working at my first news station in Cadillac, Michigan. This is in northern Michigan, so if this is the mitten, Cadillac is like here, right? No black people there. Again, I'm in this space where I'm the only black woman. That's already difficult enough to go through and to face, but it's even more difficult when people make it more difficult for you, right? This is at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, where George Floyd was just killed. There are protests bursting out all over the country. And my news station had recently acquired Bounce, which is a channel, a television program, where they show mostly black sitcoms. Behind me, while I'm at my desk working, you know, producing my show, getting ready to anchor it, the owner of the company, of the station, is behind me talking to one of the guys who does programming. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that we start running insert name of black sitcom on our channel. He's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. I hear that and I turn around and they're back there just cracking up about it. A lot of times when you get into these white spaces, I honestly think that they would forget that I was there. And not even that, they didn't see what they were saying as being offensive. And if they did see it as being offensive, they simply didn't care. And that's the truth in most situations. When it is happening to you, a microaggression is happening to you, it's so much easier to be silent and not say anything. But it's not fair for us to have to sit in silence and not say anything. And I found that even when I would directly ask someone, what? What are you saying? Say that again. Repeat yourself. Sometimes that is a good way to check them right there in the moment. Ask them to repeat themselves. What did you just say to me? Don't be the only one feeling uncomfortable. If I'm gonna feel uncomfortable, baby, we all about to feel uncomfortable right here. Tell them to repeat themselves. Ask them what they just said to you. Because a lot of times when people repeat what they say, or they hear you asking them to repeat, they take a second thought and they think, okay, maybe what I said was wrong. But that's not always a solution, right? Especially if you are a person who is not argumentative, or you're not big on conflict, or you try to avoid conflict, or you're a shy person or an introvert. It's not always as easy as it seems to do, especially when it's happening to you in the moment. It's so much easier to be quiet. But I really do urge you to speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself. Because as black women, I'm telling you, the only people that we usually have in these spaces that's going to take up for us is us. It is us. Another thing that I would urge you to do, if microaggressions are continuously happening to you, document them if you can. If you are in a state where you can record conversations without another person's permission, record the conversation legally. If you can legally record a conversation without having the other person's permission, look up the laws in your state. It's a state-by-state base. Record people, especially if it's a certain person who always says weird stuff to you. Record what they are saying to you, right? Just in case you need to file a lawsuit or you need to file a grievance. I'm over Black women having to suffer in silence and be silent when things are happening to us. I'm over Black women being gaslit to think that, oh, I didn't mean it like that. It doesn't, the intent of what you meant doesn't always matter when harm is being done with your words. And I'm over that excuse. I'm over the, oh, I just didn't know. I'm over the, oh, I've never been around Black people before. I'm over all of it. I'm over all of it because we don't get to act like that, right? We don't get to just be rude. We don't get to just be rude. And microaggressions don't always just come from white people. It can come from people of other races too. So don't think that, oh, well, they brown, so maybe they didn't mean it. No, they probably did mean it like that. And I want women, Black women who are in these spaces, I want you to know that if it's happening to you and when it's happening to you, it is happening to you. I am here to affirm you and to let you know that if you think it's happening, then it probably is happening. A lot of times our intuition is telling us, right? Don't ignore your intuition. You feel that pit in your stomach, or your stomach drops, or you have to take a double take. It's a microaggression. It's happening to you. You feel uncomfortable in that moment. It's a microaggression and it's happening to you. Another example of a microaggression that happened to me, and when it happened, I literally just went mute because I got so mad. And I'm at work, so it's like I can't react in a way that I would if we was in the streets. So if we was in the streets, I would have cussed them out. And I brought up why it can happen from other people who are not white. It's an Asian girl I worked with while I was at a station in the Quad Cities. It's Thanksgiving time. Mind you, I'm away from my family at this time. I'm a morning news anchor at this time, and she operates the cameras. So we will all talk during commercial breaks. She's the meteorologist I worked with at the time. We were very close, and he says to her, oh, girl, I'm going to come to your house for Thanksgiving. And she would be like, oh, you know, she was like, oh yeah, that would be great. We're all joking. She's like, yeah, my aunt would love to have you over. He's a white man. I said, girl, I want to come over too. She said, oh, she wouldn't like that. She would say, what is this girl doing here? And I was like, why? She don't like women or something? She said, no, she don't like Black people. I was so taken aback that this Asian girl just told me that her Asian auntie don't like Black people and felt so comfortable to say that to me for no reason. For no reason. We're joking and playing. Even if your auntie is racist, why do you feel the need to tell me that? For some reason, people who have racist family members, they feel the need to tell Black people that their family members are racist as a means to make it seem like, oh, well, I'm not that way though. I don't care. That was weird. So when I said, that's weird for you to say to me, like, why would you say that to me? Mind you, I'm the only Black person. Everybody else making it seem like I'm tripping, like, well, see, some people's family is just racist. So now I'm the one that's being gaslit. All of y'all are wrong. And all of y'all are making me feel uncomfortable. And even though I'm questioning it at that time, I'm still being gaslit in that moment. I'm still being gaslit in that moment. And I was so pissed. And I wish I would have went to HR about it, even though probably nothing would have been done. But I might have felt better. And, you know, one of the girls, white girl there, she was like, you know, I think y'all are making Sierra feel uncomfortable. And then the Asian girl was like, no, I don't think so. She's fine. I'm like, no, y'all are pissing me off. Then after I get pissed off and people can tell that I'm mad, then it's, oh, Sierra, we're sorry. We didn't mean it like that. Then what did you mean it like? Because what if I told you, yeah, my grandma don't like Asian people. It's not true. I'm just using this as an example. But what if I said something like that to you, right? You would feel so taken aback. Because what would I tell you that for? What would you tell me that for outside of trying to make me feel low? outside of trying to bring me down, outside of trying to lower my self-esteem. I've experienced so many microaggressions that I could tell y'all stories for days. This video would be hours long if I continued to just tell all the stories of all the microaggressions that I have faced since being a teenager up until now, me being 30, right? And it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. I already have to come to work. Working within itself is exhausting. Not only do I have to come to work, but I have to deal with these people who think it's okay to say anything to me for whatever reason. Because I am black, and specifically because I am a black woman, they feel that they could just say whatever to me. It's hard being the only black woman in white spaces. It's hard always having to be strong, but I'm here to remind you that you are so resilient and you have so much strength. I'm also here to remind you that you do not have to stay in spaces where you are not comfortable. You do not have to stay in spaces where you are being picked on and bullied and talked about. You don't have to stay there. Choose yourself each and every time. And it doesn't always have to be extremely overt in order for it to be happening to you. But trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust that gut feeling that you get. Document, 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 document. Call it out. If you're the type of person that has the ability to call something out, call it out while it's happening. And always stand up for other black women in the workplace. Always. We have to have each other's back. We have to. We are all that we got. We do have an affirmation for today. I am capable of navigating challenging situations. I am capable of navigating challenging situations. I hope that today's video brought you some type of clarity or it resonated with you. I just want us as black women to come together and to build community and to have each other's backs and to know that what is happening to us is actually happening to us and not be gaslit. I do have the Becoming Circle. We are growing so much. I went from 8 members to 50 members in just a couple of weeks. So if you are interested in becoming a member of the Becoming Circle, I urge you to sign up. It's a free bi-weekly email where I send out reflections, affirmations, and journal prompts to help you to release, reset, and receive. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Always remember to protect your mind, protect your energy, and protect your peace. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.